These runners have their tournament life on the line here, at the 1 and 3 bracket. Looks like they are just about to start. We will see. With this 8 MP, it's possible they have a spell that could be the return spell at level 1. TheAlanHeffley looks like they started for a sec. Oh, they're on normal message speed. Ouch.
Well, we've got the spell of Radiant to start here.
Not return, so we can't save that key. And no gold in the starting.
So a little bit of a
as well.
in the starting in the throne room there. So yeah, the fairy water and the cursed belt. Not exactly very helpful, although the belt could be sold at a nearby town that has an item shop for 180 gold, so that could allow them to buy something on the early end here.
Looks like that's what jkoper's looking for, walking through these grassy areas, trying to get as much early exploration as he can manage.
Doing a pretty good job of it. Now, the object of Dragon Warrior Randomizer is for our racers to find and defeat the evil Dragon Lord. They'll be looking to collect certain key items to trade in for the Rainbow Drop, which will allow the runners to enter Charlotte Castle, home of the Dragon Lord. And, well, speaking of towns, we've got a nearby one here in Cantlin, the proverbial shopping mall of Alethgard.
Yeah, he's going straight to sell that curse belt, just like we mentioned. Might also sell the fairy water, actually.
And is going to do just that.
Unfortunately, TheAlanHeffley going in a different direction, finding a rogue scorpion, very high agility enemy for the early game. Can't run away from it. Even with this 24 starting agility, which is pretty impressive for level 1.
So opting for a club is the best option there, and also a small shield. And I'm going to get some clothes as well.
Yep. Nice things to start with. A little bit of extra attack power when you only have 6 strength. That goes a long way. We don't have a timer running, by the way.
Oh, and also going to pick up just enough gold to pick up a dragon scale. And ooh, Drakeema's with Hurtmore, and that is going to send TheAlanHeffley back at the cost of half of that 3 gold.
Not much of a loss. Most of their gold is tied up in that cursed belt, which can't get lost from death.
So with the dragon scale equipped on jkoper's side, off to venture a little bit and running into a werewolf that ambushes and sends jkoper back.
Meanwhile, it looks like TheAlanHeffley is just looking for enemies that he can kill with this 6 strength, but that's going to be really limited to basically just slimes. Maybe a Draki.
Yeah, as you can see, our runners are, well, they're fighting enemies one at a time to gain experience and levels to get stronger, as well as gold to purchase weapons, armor, and items to help in their quests, as you saw jkoper doing already. The problem is, at this point, yes, with the just 6 strength, the only thing that you're going to have any chance of doing more than a coin flip of 1 damage on is either the slime or red slime. Even a Drakey at this point, you may hit it for 0, you may hit it for 1 hit point.
Yeah. But meanwhile, jkoper's taking that club, and it's just enough to push him over the point of being able to do reliable damage, and he gets level 2 first, despite spending some time exploring before doing anything else.
Oh, and level 2 has Hurtmore.
Wow! That really breaks open this this early game, and TheAlanHeffley is going to be hurting for that Hurtmore.
Yeah, Hurtmore, it costs 5 MP, so not a whole lot of castings of it, but when they do, it does anywhere between 58 and 65 hit points of damage.
Yeah, I think what jkoper wants to find is something like this Rogue Scorpion where he can just one-shot it with that Hurt More, get a whole bunch of levels all at once, and then promptly use the king to heal him back up to full with a little death warping. Only 10 MP though. That's still not a lot of max MP.
Well, it looks like there was a new
up,
spell gained as well.
Yep, haven't seen what it is yet. He immediately jumped in the swamp with his 2 health. Hurtmore costs 5 MP. And it does 58 to 65 damage. Wow, that's a spell list, alright. Heal more, hurt, stop spell, and radiant. Looking for another Rogue Scorpion here.
Yeah, somewhere between levels 3 and 4, the spells of Hurt, Heal More, and Stop Spell were all gained. And now here comes level 2 for TheAlanHeffley, and how thrilled is he going to be?
Some fun police for jkoper. Yikes.
Yeah, the Red Dragon...
That's not something you can really hurt more.
No, the Red Dragon is one of, if not the toughest enemies in the game that isn't the Dragon Lord, and it's known as the Fun Police because when they show up, the fun tends to stop.
Yep. They have the highest agility of any standard enemy in the game, so they're very difficult to run from. They hit as hard as the Dragon Lord's standard melee attacks. And they're just beefy. They did have hurt though, so that makes them a lot less scary than they normally would be.
And here's the levels are going to come pretty quick and furious here. And wow, 15 power on level 5.
Interesting, TheAlanHeffley finds a Rogue Scorpion, chooses not to... Oh, he doesn't have enough MP to hurt more.
Yeah, TheAlanHeffley is just trying to use the exploration and finds a town, but also finds a Rogue Scorpion and not able to get away.
That's, from his perspective, that's fine. He can walk back up to that town, which we know is Cantlin, with that Hurt More spell slicing through the Rogue Scorpions he found. Rogue Scorpions are one of the stronger enemies that is still weak enough to always die to a Hurt More. So it's really the kind of thing that you really want to fight right now.
Even if you only have the couple of castings of it, it's still enough to boost you up about 140 experience.
Yep.
Comes level 6 and 26 hit points for jkoper.
This is some serious max HP at the early game, but really missing out on that max MP, which is what you want when you have this situation. TheAlanHeffley looking at this shop, not really sure what he's considering, if he wants to save up for that large shield or something, or the full plate. Since he has the hurt more information that jkoper didn't have when making that purchase decision. Not choosing to sell that cursed belt, though.
Well, perhaps it's something that's not, because it's something that's not often done, it's not necessarily a strategy that everyone thinks of right away. Of, oh, this cursed belt, it's just a whole lot of nothing. Ooh. But what's not a lot of nothing is the Armored Knight with the Dragon Lord breath.
Yeah, but at level 6 having 78 HP, he survives it and takes out the Armored Knight with a second cast of Hurt More.
And another 11 hit points.
Yeah, that's not going to be the thing that's bottlenecking them from the Dragon Lord, that's for sure.
Oh, 89 hit points already at level 7, and now here comes... Looks like a couple of levels here, or actually, no, just shy of a couple of levels for TheAlanHeffley.
Peeking at those new spells he just learned, sees the Heal More.
Yeah, going up one level at a time, the TheAlanHeffley was able to confirm that Heal More came in at level 3, whereas Hurt and Stop Spell were level 4. And now, just that quickly, here comes 5.
Yep.
So as they're
It
working on
seems like
getting...
this-
Wow.
Seems like this is some experience for this kind of turbo seed is starting to show for jkoper. He's playing much more aggressively than the TheAlanHeffley is. Aggressively going back to the inn to regen that MP, even if it's inhibiting his exploration a little bit, because he just knows that he just wants to be casting Hurt More at everything that moves.
Well, and it's certainly a solid strategy. I mean, the fact that level 8, not even 11 minutes into this seed, and yes, a maximum hit points of 100. Oh, red dragons with sleep, but also the spell of hurt. So that'll be something that, yep, the stop spell will be the way to go, and immediately getting on that is jkoper, and well, it gives a chance to try to get away, but ooh, the red dragon hitting hard and making
Ouch.
a fun police arrest.
Looked like he paused for a moment there trying to decide whether he wanted to hurt more or just try to run. Unfortunately, the red dragon decided not to cast its stop-spelled spells.
Ooh. And the Diet Wombo combo on the Scorpion's part. The combination of sleep and hurt more, not quite taking out jkoper, but pretty close. But able to survive and move on.
Looks like this is the south end of the map that Tantagel's nearby, and so jkoper's just like exploring along that south track.
The swamp tiles being rather pesky, as every step that you take through those, it causes 2 hit points of damage.
Yep.
Although, not that hit points are too much of a concern at this point.
He finds Hawk's Nest. He's actually probably gonna go see what this Guardian is, because if it's something he can hurt more, he's gonna be able to take it out right now.
Yeah, the abandoned town of Hawk's Nest that has enemy encounters, and it also has a Guardian enemy that is blocking a search spot. It can be one of 3 different things. It can either be the Fairy Flute, which is used on the Golem, one of the tougher enemies in the game. It also could have Erdrick's Token, or it could have Erdrick's Armor, the best armor in the game. Or if some of those items, either the Fairy Flute and or the Erdrick's Token, are in a treasure chest in this particular seed, it could contain nothing. It looks like we've got a Stone Man.
Stone Man. So the problem with the Stone Man here is that it does have resistance to the hurt type spells. It can they'll only work about 50% of the time. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to land any of those, and loses a bunch of MP in the process, and then decides to just go ahead and run away. Fortunately, Stone Man does have very low agility, so he's able to get away.
Pretty easy to run away from, all things considered.
Looks like this is the Garen's grave, and there's some metal slimes in here, which we'll see if he can manage to take one out and get that nice 255 XP.
Oh, he's hit it for 1. Hit it for 2.
Command.
There's
the 3.
Gets the 3 count. So another 255 experience. That's going to be enough to get level 9 for jkoper. Not even 15 minutes here in the seed, with another 18 power and 21 magic points.
That's a nice level 9. That is a pretty big boost there.
And the top 3 chests in Garen's Grave out of the 5, we've got an herb, we've got a fairy water, and we've got some big bucks. Not able to access the other 2 without a magic key, which can either be purchased in the town of Rimeldar or found inside of treasure chests somewhere along the land.
Yep. Once you find your first key, you can also open the key shop in Tantagel. So once you get keys, then you just want to make sure you keep keys for unlocking that shop if you ever need it. More keys. Looks like TheAlanHeffley is heading over in this same direction that we see jkoper in, where Hawksness and Garen's Grave are both available.
We have a question in chat about grinding metal slimes. The problem is every time you go to attack them, it is a coin flip as to whether you'll inflict a point of damage, and they have a maximum agility of 255, so they're very likely to run from you.
Yeah, not only that, but they can kill enemies with like a third to half as much XP just by casting a single hurt more. So the amount of time it takes to like look around for metal slimes specifically isn't really going to be worth it for these runners, I don't think. There are times that your stats are just astronomically terrible and you can't really handle normal monsters per se, and then it can be worth fighting the metal slimes. This isn't one of those situations. They'd rather throw hurt mores at things that give 50 to 100 XP. Find another cave. This one's the mountain cave.
Which also has 5 treasure chests in it.
He's actually going to use that herb to try and survive this cave dive with 0 MP. But he does have 70 agility almost, and that's going to really help out this this type of situation.
Well, lots of torches, yeah.
And another cursed belt. That's 2 cursed belts. That means that all 3 of the ground search spots are going to be in play here. Because if the token or the fairy flute show up in chests, they replace one of the cursed belts.
And we have a question in chat. Do the colors on the tracker mean that these stats are above or below average? No, what the colors are, you'll see over the course of a run 4 different colors. The below average is more so for the beginning of the game, and if you see red as opposed to white. White is kind of in the progression stage. When you start to see the majority of the stats in orange, you start to think, maybe I might be strong enough to consider taking on the Dragon Lord. And when you see green, that is an ideal stat number to go after it. Once it starts to turn green and stays that way.
Another metal slime kill for jkoper. And TheAlanHeffley goes down and looks at the door in Garen's Grave, but looks like he's having a little bit of a time walking out. It's not a walk typically made by runners to walk out of the Garen's Grave, as opposed to casting outside or death warping. So he's also completely out of MP. jkoper walks all the way out of the mountain cave there.
Completely cleaning it out, getting a little info, and running right into an armored knight.
Yeah. The red in particular is like this stat at generally level 1 or low level. It generally means that this stat is so low that it's difficult to even engage normal enemies.
So now back and refreshed, and TheAlanHeffley running into a block of enemies that are a little on the tougher side with the Stone Man and the Werewolf. And wow, 4 different encounters in 4 steps.
Ooh, running into an Axe Knight and not casting Hurt More is his first reaction. That's pretty much the ideal enemy in the whole game to hurt more. Dies almost every time. And gives the highest just about the highest XP of anything that will reliably die to a hurt more at 130.
And another level gain and another spell gain on jkoper's side up to level 10. TheAlanHeffley just seconds before getting to level 8. And jkoper back into Hawk's Nest.
Yep, he might be trying to handle the Stone Man again with the better MP situation.
Well, now also with the sleep spell, which I don't know if it was seen in the inventory. Yeah, very susceptible to the sleep spell are the Stone Men.
Yeah, I would be going for that sleep spell if I were in this situation. They only resist it 2 out of 16, or 1 out of 8 chance. TheAlanHeffley finds another town. It's Garenham. He unfortunately doesn't have a key to unlock this door, but knowing where it is important. And it seems that it's just over that double bridge to the west of Cantlin.
And opts to pick up a hand axe to be able to perhaps deliver a finishing blow to a particular enemy. And we've got Erdrick's armor in the Hawk's Nest search spot.
Yeah, that's a big find. So now he has so the things that Erdrick's armor gives you. It gives you the best defense of any armor, 28. It gives you resistance to hurt and fire spells, reducing their damage by 1/3. And it gives you regeneration whenever you take 1 step. You will regain 1 hit point. And finally, it gives you immunity to swamp and lightning tile damage.
And as an added bonus, but wait, there's more, it also negates stop spell. So the enemies that have stop spell can cast it and cast it until they're blue in the face or some other color in the case of the Rogue Scorpion, and it will not affect our runners who have Erdrick's armor on.
I knew I missed something.
I usually do also. That's why I had to jot it down somewhere, because there's always 5 things, and I'm trying to remember, all right, did I get this? Did I get that? It's like trying to name the 7 dwarves. You get about 5 or 6 in, you go, oh man, which one didn't I mention again?
Meanwhile, so at the town of Garenham, TheAlanHeffley did manage to pick up a hand axe, substantial upgrade over that club, and chainmail to help him survive some of this running around the overworld.
Yeah, the chainmail adding 10 defense points, and the hand axe an upgrade from the 4 of the club to the 15 for a hand axe, so a nice 11-point upgrade there.
I'm trying to conserve that MP on these weaker enemies now. Looks like that was a bit of a dead end north of Garenham. Ooh, his first metal slime sighting, although the first one runs away. The second one, we'll see. It also runs away.
They're a little shy on the TheAlanHeffley's side.
Yeah, and that metal slime difference is contributing to the doubling up that we see jkoper's XP against TheAlanHeffley's XP.
Yeah, those two metal slimes accounting for 510 experience combined. So that just about half of the experience lead that jkoper has is TheAlanHeffley finding the Rainbow Drop Cave, also known as the Jerk Cave, because if you don't have all of the essential items to get the Rainbow Drop, most notably Erdrick's armor, or I'm sorry, Erdrick's token, he will kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is.
Hold on, I'll tell you off in the process.
Yeah, but rather meanly.
You were saying something about enemies casting stop spell till they're blue in the face. That seems to be exactly what wizards are doing here. Ooh, TheAlanHeffley finds coal. He's gonna go search the tile.
Yeah, 4 steps south of the baths. In the vanilla game, it has the fairy flute, and it does this time around as well. Huh, so this is one of those seeds where everything that's in the vanilla game is in its, as far as the search spots go, are randomized to be in their exact same locations. So that by process of elimination means that the overworld item will be Erdrick's token. And we've got level 11 now for jkoper.
TheAlanHeffley picks up a small shield from Cole as well. And it looks like there's a cave here as well that he's about to explore.
And here comes level 9 for TheAlanHeffley with a nice 18 boost that we saw earlier and the 21 MP.
21 MP is really the kicker here. When you're running Hurtmore, you don't care too much about the other stats. But gosh, you want more MP so you can just go further while blasting everything that moves.
And chat, meanwhile, being highly entertained by my apparent sales pitch of the Erdrick's armor. Didn't mean to make it an infomercial, but they're having a lot of fun with it. Watch this stop spell just rinse right off. Well played, Lord of the Synth.
What was that other cave that was near Cole? So we had the Rainbow Drop Cave and then the other one?
I'm trying to recall. I mean, TheAlanHeffley must have gone in and out of it so quickly that I missed it. Bit of a dead end there with a little bit of swamp protecting it.
Yep. Looks like jkoper is going to explore this same area that TheAlanHeffley was in just not too long ago.
Edgy clarifying that it was the Staff of Rain Cave. So when our runners find the silver harp in one of the treasure chests, they will go to that Staff of Rain Cave, trade in the harp to the old man, and behind the treasure chest behind that old man will be the Staff of Rain, one of 3 items needed to acquire the Rainbow Drop.
Yep, pretty convenient for that to be right near the Rainbow Drop Cave.
Yeah, ideally that'll be the last little bits of their checklist, grocery list, however you want to look at it.
Looped around back to Garenham. Meanwhile, it looks like jkoper's going to be heading up in that same direction soon.
Well, not unless the Red Dragon has something to say about it.
Well, he can survive quite a bit of punishment from this Red Dragon. Especially given that it's spending a lot of time casting spells that don't work.
Now the Metal Slime's not as willing to stick around for jkoper.
jkoper finally finds his way over to Garanham, which kind of took a snake's path northeast, then northwest, then back northeast from Tantagel. The thing that they haven't found yet is a key, and it's looking like they might have to find specifically Rimuldar to get it, because we've seen quite a few of the other chests opened so far with no key in sight.
Yeah, the only other potentially accessible caves that might have a magic key in a chest would either be the Tablet Cave or the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave.
Got a nice little sync up of both runners staying at the same inn at the same time.
The old virtual high five trick.
And jkoper's going to go north of Garen here to find his coal and Rainbow Drop Cave and Staff of Rain Cave that are up north this way.
Yep. For those of you just joining us, it's been a little bit of a drag in terms of exploration, but the levels have been fast and furious with the acquisition of the Hurtmore spell at level 2. As far as the exploration goes, well, the Fairy Flute was in its vanilla location of coal, and that's what the TheAlanHeffley has. Meanwhile, on jkoper's side, well, getting to level 12 as we speak here, but also had found Hawksness and defeated the snowman in there to acquire Erdrick's armor.
It's certainly looking like this is the type of seed where you'd expect to see the Death Necklace come up. What the Death Necklace does in the randomizer is a feature added to help balance out these very lopsided randomized builds, where it adds 10 attack power, but penalizes you by 25% of your max health, which is a pretty huge penalty. But when you're really needing just a little bit more attack power for a few more average points of damage on the Dragon Lord, it is often necessary.
And it certainly has come into play. In fact, the race that I called earlier this evening, that was a factor that led one runner over the other. I believe you were. That's right. You were on the neighboring. You were on this network here, calling one race as that was going on over on Randomania 2. But yeah, that having the Death Necklace was something that helped put, I guess, spoiler alert? I don't know. I mean, you can, no, regardless. That put Zarnax over the top of McGrew in that matchup.
Wow. Where was the Death Necklace during that run?
It was in Garen's grave in the top 3 chests, and it was just a matter of McGrew never found the grave. He found all the other items really quickly and just never explored the cave, or that particular cave.
Yeah. It is worth noting that the 67 attack power they have right now is at level 12. A lot of that is because his weapon is currently a club, and he's not really looking to replace it because he has Hurtmore. He will replace it with Erdrick's sword, is my best guess.
I saw a quick glance there. Even at level 10, it looks like almost all the spells. Yeah, all 10 spells are guaranteed to be learned by level 16, but there have been times where they've been learned considerably earlier.
Oh, did jkoper just pick up a hand axe? I might have been looking over at TheAlanHeffley, who is facing another Metal Slime and really hoping that he gets this Metal Slime kill.
Oh, and it runs away.
But as we mentioned, there's kind of better things to be hoping to be getting your XP from when you're facing, when you're running the Hurt More spell. Like Knights. Knights are one of the strongest enemies, or highest XP yielding enemies, that will always die to a Hurt More. At 78. The highest is the Magiwyvern at 83 experience. And then you have a host of enemies such as werewolves and axe knights and green dragons that sometimes die to a single Hurt More, but not always. And they can give even over 100 XP. The average time for a Dragon Quest rando is generally somewhere between 90 and 120 minutes, between an hour and a half and 2 hours usually. Jet Seeds can be under that, and Misery Seeds can be over 2 hours, so...
Yeah, some of the extremes, I mean, the shortest seeds that we've seen in tournament flags like this have been around the 45 to 50 minute mark. And then on the long end, we have seen, golly, what was that? 3 hours and 20 minutes, give or take.
That, to be fair, that was not on the current version.
Yeah, that wasn't in the current version.
And there have been checks put in place that seeds will generally not require you to grind to level 23 or 24 in order to beat the game. That said, Misery Seeds can still happen where you're pushing that 3 hour mark or worse, just due to a number of confounding factors.
True. In this tournament, I think the longest that we've seen as far as a winning time has hovered around that 2.5 hour mark.
Well, we have a bit of a spark over bridge there, that bridge to a small swamp and dead end.
And we have a question in chat as far as what is randomized here in Dragon Warrior Randomizer. Well, the overworld map, as you had noted, is randomized, as are the treasure chest and search spot contents. Also, the locations of the towns and caves are shaken up and all around. Also, the contents that are in the weapon and armor shops. As I mentioned, the order of these spells learned, though they're guaranteed to learn all 10 spells by level 16. The locations of the enemies, as normally you would not see armored knights in the overworld, just to give one example. Also, the enemy spells and abilities are randomized.
And for as far as what they're looking for, in order to enter the final dungeon, you need the Rainbow Drop. The Rainbow Drop you get by bringing the Staff of Rain, the Stones of Sunlight, and the Erdrick's Token to the Jerk. So they have to find the Jerk and then bring those items to him. The Staff of Rain you get from the another guy who you trade the Silver Harp for it. And then you find the Silver Harp, the Stones of Sunlight in treasure boxes, and the Erdrick's Token can either be in a treasure box or in a ground searchable location. In this case, because we know the other two ground searchable locations, we know it to be hidden on the overworld map somewhere, where you get the coordinates from a sage in Cantlin that is on some lightning tiles.
Behind a locked door.
Behind a locked door.
Yeah.
Notably, they know where Cantlin is, but they don't have the keys to get into those locked doors, so they can't check those coordinates yet. The sprite that TheAlanHeffley has is the female sage from Dragon Quest III.
Yes, added feature to the more recent versions of Dragon Warrior Randomizer have included a very expansive list of different character sprites that you can play as, including numerous characters from the first 4 Dragon Warrior games. You can play as Mario or Luigi. I believe Link is in there as well from The Legend of Zelda. Also some Final Fantasy I characters, so a lot of different options.
TheAlanHeffley finds the fun police, gets sent back home.
Slept and wrecked.
That sleep spell is always mean. In the race I was commentating earlier, we actually had several high-tier enemies with sleep, and both runners were having a really tough time dealing with star wyverns that would sleep and hurt more you. Also, stonemen would sleep you. It was not nice. And also, they had a unlike this one, they had a freakishly low HP seed, where HP was the bottleneck all the way up. So it was very easy to just die in the space of a sleep lock because of how low your max HP was. jkoper finding another town. Is this the legendary Rimuldar? It is!
It is.
Finally, that is quite a long ways from Charlock, or from Tantagel, I mean. And it looks like Charlock was up in the, just to the northeast of this. So keys are gonna really unlock this seed. They've been finding a number of places that are locked. Looks like something might be either in Tantagel's treasury or in the locked area of Garen's grave, both of which they haven't been able to afford. Or not afford, unlock.
A question in chat, which had also crossed my mind, Silverfire, was that pun intended?
Absolutely.
Okay, just making sure. And looks like we have the fighter's ring inside of Rimuldar's double door. So once the fighter's ring is put on, which looks like Koper just did, that does add 2 attack points to their totals. Just a nice little boost.
Okay, so we've seen the entrance to Charlock. How do we get there?
That is the twist.
No, seriously, how do we get there? Wow. It looks like it might not even be on this continent, or maybe all the way around here.
But first, we have a cave.
Is this going to be swamp, or...
This is the
Okay,
tablet
it's the
cave.
tablet cave.
So there are no enemy encounters in this cave, and very timely of jkoper to run into it, as just at level 13 was the final spell of Outside that is learned. So this long winding path doesn't have to be taken on the way back here, but the path does lead to some big bucks.
Yes, particularly, like, Rimuldar is often a major turning point for seeds. The other major turning points can be wherever the sword is and wherever the armor is, because those all give you access to so many things that you don't really get access to without that. And it looks like they're gonna have to go to the other continent to get to Charlock, even though they found Charlock at jkoper found Charlock at Rimuldar.
Huh. What a twist. And there is the fire-breathing armored knight. That is the stuff of nightmares right there.
Yeah.
But Koper able to take out said knight, and here's the TheAlanHeffley in Hawk's Nest.
He is going to go ahead and use that sleep that we mentioned, although gets some bad luck there. The 1 out of 8 chance of it to fail.
But hits the hurt more.
Yeah.
Yes, jkoper did already find Hawk's Nest and is currently enjoying the Erdrick's armor.
Yep.
And has been for quite a while. At this point, about 22 minutes or so. And now there's the Erdrick's armor for the TheAlanHeffley. And jkoper is going to check the treasury as we speak. So we have Erdrick's sword.
Oh, You're wondering if this was going to be a big turning point. Jumping 25 attack power, that's generally a big turning point. And it looks like the swamp cave might be the basement. It's either that or the bonus cave. And it's more likely to be swamp. Replenish his keys.
A little bit of an inventory check there, and the basement this time around is the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave.
That's yet another thing that wasn't really randomized.
Well, I figure it's because you would expect it to be elsewhere, so that's where the random thought process comes in of, you thought it was going to be somewhere else, but nope, we're going to leave it right here, just to fool with you.
TheAlanHeffley running away from Druid Lords. I would consider these a prime Hurtmore target. He fights that one, although doesn't use the Hurtmore on it. He might be really trying to conserve MP. But not Hurtmoring things is leaving him a little further and further behind on that XP counter. Also taking a wrong turn in the mountain cave.
Meanwhile, a quick pass to the coordinates, and we will see 5 south and 1 east. They have probably tripped over it somewhere along the way here. They might have stepped on the token. And there it is, that quickly.
Well, you don't really need the GPS to find that. Also, adjusting the position of his fighter's ring just to make sure that he's wearing it. And our princess will continue to be in another castle, or cave as the case may be. Looks like he might be going up to Garenham at this point, which at this point we know has to be the swamp cave.
Yeah, we have seen everything else. And as far as the Silver Harp and the Stones of Sunlight, there are only 5 treasure chests, of which the 2 of those items can be in.
Yep, they can either be in Garenham, or they can be in the bottom of Garen's grave.
Yeah, the 2 yet to be open chests, and the access with the keys that jkoper has is immense at this point. Oh, and the TheAlanHeffley trying to get away from a red dragon and not able to do so.
Yeah, that sleep lock, even with 76 agility, that's still less than a 50% chance to run away from a red dragon. And that sleep is mean.
Nice, excellent move on jkoper's part. The critical hit, able to 2-shot it. I have to admit, of all the races that I've called between the Chaos Tournament, the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Weeklies, and now this tournament here, I think that has to be the closest coordinates to the castle that I have personally seen. I'm sure there have been closer, but this is a first for me, that's for sure.
I've definitely had a couple of races where where they were on screen of Tantagel Castle as well, but I don't strongly remember if there have been any that are less than that number of tiles away. It's always amusing when it's on screen of Tantagel Castle, though.
It is, because you would not think to look there. So back in the mountain cave goes the TheAlanHeffley.
Trying to just run without any backup from like a stop spell against sleep hurt red dragons, though. I would really try stop spelling, see if they have a resistance to it, because sleep is just that mean.
Jkoper, meanwhile, getting an excellent move and smashing a red dragon into 108 pieces.
And he's gonna get sent back home again. Wow, jkoper fighting. That's the third metal slime he's gotten. Not solely responsible for the huge XP lead he's been building, but it's certainly helping.
It's definitely a contributing factor, not the sole factor, though. And here comes level 14 for jkoper. Not much to it, though.
Looks like he might have made a wrong turn looking for Garenham. Because he should know that he wants to go back there. But he's a little bit too far to the north. And it's a little further to the east as well.
Of all the things that I've been able to track statistically, mapping out things, that's a little much to also keep track of. So thank you for
I literally
up
use
me on
my
that.
very high-tech tracker of I have a pad of graph paper.
That'll do it. Yeah, my high-tech paper has everything from jotting down what times they got to each level, what times they acquired certain specific items, just other basically statistician stuff.
Yep, I haven't been writing that down in favor of just keeping an eye on where things are. Although currently, other than the sword and the armor, we haven't seen them find very much. Maybe we'll see a nice care package Garenham here. Hey, I will have you know I use the front and back of this graph paper pad extensively.
Well, we've got a magic key to replace. We've got the silver harp.
Noting that when he drops the fighter's ring
stones of sunlight.
Oh wow, I wasn't kidding about that care package. That's everything that he needs to be in go mode. And with already hitting that huge HP value, you know, he's going to be pretty close to what he wants. The question is that Death Necklace ever going to show up at this point? Because when you're over 130 HP, you really want that. His strength is still very much too low to fight the Dragon Lord, though.
Yeah, that looks to be the main thing. Well, I mean, you can see there statistically on jkoper's side that it's the only thing that's not in a green or orange state. So that is the hindrance at the moment.
Calmly taking out a red dragon by using that stop spell and then laughing while it casts sleep and hurt. And just meleeing away. It's gonna peek at what this trap enemy is.
It's the Guardian of the Princess. Yeah, normally in the vanilla game, you just defeat the Guardian once, but in this case, it is a spiked tile or trap tile, meaning that every time that you walk on it, the same enemy will respawn, which in the later parts of the game, it's a good way to find a grind if there's an enemy that's rather easily defeatable. Oh, and it's an Axe Knight.
This is literally the best enemy to have show up on this tile in terms of the speed of grind that you get out of it. Something like 80% of the time it will get one shot by the Hurtmore. And not only that, there's an inn right outside because this is just the basement of Garenham.
Plus, its resistance is roughly, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it's fairly low. I forget how low exactly.
It is 1 out of 16. Yep.
And so you've got a 6% chance of it missing
and
or not being effective.
It can have somewhere between like 50 and 66 HP. So just varying each time it has anywhere between 75 and 100% of its HP. So it almost always ends up rolling less HP than what your Hurtmore will do. Two more Axe Knights will be a level up. Oof, that's a little mean though. That it has that
the Dragon Lord breath.
Yeah. A little risky to go for the Hurtmore there even.
And here is level 15.
Another 5 power. Not quite enough, but getting there. Looks like he's gonna go back out to the go back out to hit up that inn. He probably knows at this point as well that Sherlock is going to be outside the Swamp Cave exit as well, so he's not in a rush to explore over there. He kind of has a general idea that Sherlock is in the northwest corner of the map, so wherever that Swamp Cave dumps him out, you know, he saw the back wall of Sherlock. He knows generally where it is. He can just kind of walk to the northwest from wherever that exit is and doesn't really need to explore it. Strength is the most common problem, I would say, because you need to hit really at least 90 strength to be satisfied. It's by far the most stringent requirement as far as any stat goes. HP growth tends to be a little higher, so even though you need 97 HP, just HP growth generally is a little higher, so it's not usually a bottleneck. Looks like he's gonna go get his rainbow drop while he's at it.
First has to get the Staff of Rain and head north to do that.
Yeah, it looks like he remembered that these two caves were in this area, but didn't really mark down which was which.
Yeah, the order was slightly negligible.
Yeah, these two caves, they're pretty much one screen away from each other. Considering
just shy of 59 minutes, jkoper has the rainbow drop.
Yep. Now the question is, how many more levels is he going to need for that requisite strength? There have indeed been seeds where smaller enemies have Dragon Lord Breath or normal Dragon Fire Breath. I know actually one of my races earlier in the tournament had several low-level enemies be unfightable due to having Hurtmore or Dragon Breath or something. And I was literally fighting red slimes that had Dragon Breath, but at least I could usually kill them in one hit to get to level 2. So it's certainly a thing that can happen. It does not usually make the seed unbeatable.
It just tends to make it less fun.
Less fun.
Or more fun if you're into that sort of thing.
Interesting. Maybe jkoper is heading back to the Hawk's Nest location? Or maybe he's looking around for another way to get to Sherlock instead of going out Swamp Cave. If he's had diligent map keeping, he should know that it's going to be on the other continent. But I guess my map keeping is on the maximum diligence side of things.
Now I'm wondering, did jkoper got the fighter's ring, right?
Correct. Tracker, can you mark that back down? Dropping the fighter's ring does not remove the stats that it gives you.
So even though the ring is out of the inventory, yeah, you'd still want to mark it as equipped to give that extra 2 attack of damage because that is still there.
Yep. Once you equip the dragon scale or the fighter's ring, that stat change is permanent, and it does not matter if the item is in the inventory. In fact, that fact is taken advantage of in the vanilla no RNG manipulation run as you pick up a dragon scale, equip it, and immediately sell it back to the shopkeeper.
At half of what you had paid for it.
Yep.
It's a much better resale value than certain gaming stores, which will remain nameless. I better put a stop to it. Anyway, jkoper working on a red dragon at the moment as TheAlanHeffley making his way through the tablet cave.
So you're putting a stop to that kind of game?
Well, we'll leave the game to those currently playing here. Ooh, jkoper tightrope walking a little bit, attacking with the 7 hit points, but is able to take out the red dragon for that max 255 experience.
It is a nice big chunk of XP. Interestingly, it's actually due to a limitation in the randomizer that they only give 255 XP because in all of the remakes they give 300. And in general, the enemies in this have been rebalanced to give XP based on the remakes of Dragon Quest I rather than the much more meager XP values of the original game.
Yeah, otherwise we'd be here until probably Tuesday morning with the amount of grinding that seems to go on with the vanilla version. Or at least it feels that way. So jkoper back into the swamp cave and dealing with a Hurtmore casting Wraith Knight and quickly dispatching of it. And right back to the Axe Knight grind.
His next level up will be at 9750 XP.
Meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley exploring and grinding at the same time, at least a little bit, trying to get to that 4,125 mark to get level 13.
TheAlanHeffley finally finding Rimildar as well as the back wall of Sherlock. But This is a really big XP gap that jkoper's managed to build, now having access to this Axe Knight grind spot. It's now 5,000 XP ahead.
5202 and climbing. And this right here looks to be the difference, just the access to magic keys making such a difference. I mean, as that is something that jkoper had found considerably earlier, and that has just snowballed into the lead that you see here.
Yeah, jkoper's exploration was considerably more efficient. And he just found all these areas that are kind of, a lot of them are in the same general northwest region, but kind of it's a very spiderwebby map configuration, so it's still easy to get lost, even though they're in a similar quadrant. So there is in fact an option to randomize monster XP. That's one of the things that happens when you play this randomizer with the chaos mode enabled. This is not chaos mode.
No, this definitely is not.
When you have chaos mode, then enemy stats and XP values are also randomized, in addition to shop prices being fully randomized as well. And even the Dragon Lord's stuff is randomized, so it can get pretty
even more so
zany.
Yeah. To give you an idea, the oh, go ahead.
Okay, go. I was just gonna say it's not a commonly chosen option for racing, although it is certainly fun, and we've even had a tournament of chaos mode.
Yes, there was a chaos tournament earlier this year. I had the pleasure of commentating more than a majority of those races. But yes, to give you an idea of how zany chaos mode is, the Dragon Lord, which in the vanilla version of the game has 130 hit points, and here in this tournament flag version has a range of anywhere from 150 to 165 hit points. In chaos mode, it can be as low as 100 hit points and as high as 230. Plus, the Dragon Lord can also have either the spell of sleep or the spell of heal. So talk about getting slept and wrecked by the Dragon Lord. That is a possibility that you wouldn't even see in any other version of the game.
It cannot have heal more, fortunately.
Yeah.
Because it can also potentially have very high stop spell resistance. And if it had high stop spell resistance and heal more, that would just be unbeatable.
Which there was, I believe, one particular seed during that Chaos tournament race that pretty much came down to a 3-hour and 45-minute declared draw, as it was even deeper into the night than we are now, although it started a few hours earlier.
So now that he's got keys, AlanHeffley's picking up his Erdrick's sword. Unfortunately, also getting blocked by this troll guard. And jkoper's about to, with this Wraith Knight, he'll hit his next level up. If it stops dodging.
Yeah, it's being pretty dodgy here.
It's interesting considering he has enough damage to potentially kill it in one swing. Oh, I was wrong. He's 40 XP short.
Well, this red dragon will definitely do it.
Oh, yeah.
So the AlanHeffley picking up the herb in the basement. Now, this should open things up for him, but a little post-mature here. And here comes level 16. 6 power, 9 response speed, 3 hit points, and 1 magic point. and looks to be going right back on to try to get to level 17. Which is just under 2,000 experience away. Ooh, there's that. Wow. Max Dragonlord Breath, leaving jkoper with 1 hit point.
Oof. That said, that is literally the max amount of damage he could take, so it's not like he's really afraid of dying there.
It's just more of a pesky annoyance, I suppose.
Yeah. We'll see if he continues on with 48 health, though.
And 530, that is a good thing to see here, that watching some of these randomizers for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64 has prompted you to want to get into retro gaming. That is appreciated, and glad that you're able to check out the variety of games that have been showcased here among the Randomania networks. I mean, everything from Legend of Zelda, Dragon Warrior Randomizer, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy, Final Fantasy, as well as Final Fantasy 4. That's become pretty big as of late, and not too long ago, I think rising in popularity has even been for the N64, the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time randomizer. Yeah, Zelda 2 randomizer as well. Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. I mean, there's so many that have been put out there. It's just a rapidly growing field that, as said in chat, has breathed new life into those classic games. And a question in chat, how is Super Mario Brothers randomized? Well, I can't speak to the original, but Super Mario Brothers 3, it shuffles the order of the levels in the worlds, as Royale says there in chat. So you could theoretically start the game in Iceland, level 6, and the first board could be something from Desert Land. Plus, yeah, items are shuffled, enemies are shuffled. There are a number of different ways to program it. But if you're looking into something like that, you could always check out on Saturday nights the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Weekly here on Randomania. So jkoper, having exhausted all magic points, heading back to the inn in Garenham. It is just 596 now, a little less than that. 524 away from level 17. And TheAlanHeffley is making the scramble.
Still kind of shy on strength. 124 attack power would be 6 to 12 damage to the Dragonlord per turn. And he isn't guaranteed to find the Death Necklace in Charlotte Castle, so he might not feel comfortable relying on it being there. We've seen all but 9 treasure chests, the 2 that are deep in Garen's grave, and the 1 that is... the 2 that are deep in Garen's grave, and the 7 that are in Charlotte Castle. The vanilla 1, and then the 6 in Charlotte Treasury. So there's a good chance of the Death Necklace being in Charlotte Castle, but he might prefer to just pick up one more level, not take that chance,
Well, it looks like the TheAlanHeffley is going to satiate our curiosity as he is about to head deep into the grave.
Yep. You know, he got access to keys, and there's a couple places you can go with locked stuff. This is one of them. The other is the other's in locked Garanham itself. It's kind of a toss-up which one you choose to go to.
And here comes 17 for jkoper. 9 power. Oh.
That is what he wanted. And now he's very much in the clear. If he can get to the Dragon Lord without throwing away Healmores on the way down, he will be fine. Looks like he's still dumping his MP bar on this Axe Knight spot, though.
The only thing I can think of is maybe there is a little discomfort in terms of the magic point total. Having 10 Healmores, attacking at a range of 8 to 16. So it's 12 attacks with 12 potential attacks with 12 on average. You're looking at 144. So
yeah, so the thing about having 140 HP is it's pretty likely that the Dragon Lord won't do as much damage in 2 turns as what your Healmore covers. So you really need that to happen a couple times where you can get 2 swings off before having to heal more again for this type of fight to work out in your favor with this low MP. And he might not be comfortable with relying on that happening.
Yeah, the double attacks certainly could put it over the top, but yeah, I can see why there'd at least be consideration of going to another level. Plus the next level being 14,250. Not too difficult to attain, although trying to get back to the inn has been a bit of a challenge here for jkoper, as pretty much every enemy has thrown itself in his path.
Pretty much all these enemies are pretty favorable XP fights, though, so you're not too disappointed if he is indeed looking for one more level before fighting the Dragon Lord. He looked at his stats a second time. He's probably trying to do some mental math to decide how difficult this fight will be with this situation. Because it's certainly a non-trivial mental math.
But now heading back into the cave.
Yep.
Not using Radiance, so I think this might be the run.
TheAlanHeffley, on the other hand, is on his way to the very last chest in Garen's grave, and this will tell us whether the Death Necklace is here or in Sharlock. So at least somebody will find that out. Wow. I wasn't kidding about it not being hard to find Sharlock from the other side of Swamp.
Huh.
Also, there's Breckenary in case if you need it in.
I think I missed what the initial chest was in that middle spot on the TheAlanHeffley's side, who takes a death to an armored knight.
Yeah, I don't agree with his choices there of not healing up and not using Hurtmores. dying that deep in a cave when you're almost about to full clear it is not a good situation to be in. Because then you're kind of continuing to play in a lot of doubt that maybe you needed that thing that you a huge amount of time to go back to. So, in my opinion, when you're that deep in a cave, you really want to make sure you're playing safe. Particularly the grave, which is a very long cave.
Oh, I think
Star Wyverns with sleep.
I think the TheAlanHeffley was trying to potentially set up a gold grind, but it opened up the gold chest a little early, and really it just set up a torch grind.
Oh, did he not mark down the chests in the correct order? Yikes. Yeah, had he gotten every chest in there, then he actually would have... Actually, I don't think there were any gold chests in the treasury, were there?
There was. The middle chest was a gold chest, which he had opened up second. Yeah, it was Erdrick's sword in the upper left, bottom left was wings, bottom right was torch, and the middle was the gold.
The problem is, he didn't check those 3 chests on the first floor of Garen's grave before dying. So he didn't count to 9.
No.
He was only able to... He's only able to dupe the very last chest. Whereas if he had cleared the whole grave, then it wouldn't have mattered what order he checked them in, because every chest would have been duped. The way the dupe works, basically, is that the game can keep track of up to 8 chests that have been opened, and whenever you go to the overworld map, then it resets all of that. But if you die, then you enter the final or the starting castle. You have not entered the overworld map, so the chest array has not been cleared, and it also marks down those first 3 chests that you opened at the beginning of the game. And so therefore, if you have, when you go to open chests in the treasury, if you've already opened 8 chests, counting those 3 in the throne room, then the 9th chest and any chest after the 9th will be duped, meaning that it will basically have... You can just keep opening it over and over. Jkoper does in fact find his death necklace here in the Sharlock treasury. And with 144 HP, you can bet that he's going to put that on for the 25% max HP penalty and plus 10 attack power, bringing him up to 143, which is a much more comfortable 10 to 21 damage.
And the guardian enemy is a blue dragon.
It's a pretty ideal guardian enemy. It's not doing a whole lot in this seed. And Jkoper admits to being a fool. Unfortunately, it does not have enough defense power to cause the first form of the Dragon Lord to do very low damage, so he's really looking for a stop spell before he finishes off this form. Doesn't look like he's going to get it. After he runs out of herbs, he goes ahead and finishes off the first form. Gets ambushed by the second form and immediately fire breathed as well. This is a really bad start to the fight, especially with a relatively low number of Healmores.
Yeah, only hitting for 12 at the first go. Now up to another 16, up to 28. Now the Dragon Lord can have anywhere between 150 and 165.
There's a nice 20. He might still be able to pull through this, but that start really hurts.
And another 16, kind of right in the middle. That puts it up to 81. Can hit anywhere between 10 and 21 with this attack power. Oh, and there's a minimum roll of 10 up to 91. Down to just 3 Healmores left. There's an 18 that puts it up to 109. Now down to 2 Healmores. There's 13. It's 122. Oh, and a big 20.
That big 20 means that he's guaranteed to win this fight at this point, even if he does minimum damage at this. No, not quite. He could do just barely not enough. But 152, he'd have to. Yep, he'd have to hit just about
20,
minimum.
And that is going to do it.
Yep, he finishes doing 172 damage. The max possible HP of the Dragon Lord is 165. It's a little scary that 152 isn't enough when you're like, okay, I've got one more hit left, and I could potentially roll a min damage and not do 165.
Well, nonetheless, is going to take it here. So get out your GGs in chat as jkoper is staving off elimination with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 18 seconds.
Yep. That is official SRL time of 1:27:18, and good game to jkoper. TheAlanHeffley is unfortunately still a ways behind, and this has been I would say this was a very execution-heavy seed, with the large numbers of options for how to deal with enemies with the early Hurtmore, and very reliant on making your exploration of the overall map efficient. So, good game to both of our runners. It looks like TheAlanHeffley is not going to give up, going to keep running. And we'll see if we can get jkoper in here for an interview.
Meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley is about 175 experience away from level 14. And there is level 14 for TheAlanHeffley.
Alright, we are going to get jkoper in here shortly. All right, looks like the TheAlanHeffley's chosen to go ahead and throw in the towel. He's still a ways off from completing, so I don't blame him. He's getting a little tired.
Yeah, it's getting late early here as time is going on.
All right, and we have jkoper in here. Congratulations on your win. That was not quite a jet seed, but it was certainly there were a lot of things that were favorable to work with, a lot of favorable tools like that early hurt more. What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good and fun. It was an interesting map.
It really was. I was keeping track of it, and like that map exploration was a big key to your victory.
Yeah, I felt like I was most likely ahead most of the race, primarily because of the exploration. Um,
Hmm.
I took a couple wrong turns at times, but those only cost me a few seconds. But for the most part, I read it fairly well and didn't do too much backtracking.
Yeah,
Um,
and that map was really set up to like make you backtrack more than you wanted to as well.
Yeah, and it was really kind of weird because there were only like two directions where everything was. It looked like maybe there were so many ways you could go at the start, but no, it was all
Yeah,
just you either go this way or this way, and
there's just a lot of snaking back and forth in the process.
right, right.
Um,
Yeah,
so
but then I started the race by uh, getting a free walk, and I walked all the way up to Cantlin, which I was thrilled with, and I was hoping for a copper sword, of course, because that's what you hope for when you have a cursed belt in your
you
inventory.
have exactly 180 gold.
Right. Um, but no such luck. But the club closed, and um,
Yeah, you actually hit level 2. Even though TheAlanHeffley did not get that walk and immediately started grinding, um, you still hit level 2 first, just because with 6 strength, there's so little that you can actually kill, and that club made the difference.
that's a little surprising. Because thought kind of that when I saw her more at level 2, I was like, well, that little trip that I made was just kind of a waste. It was still fun, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. But um, you know, it was it just like took away my advantage once I saw the level 2 hurt more for the most
Yeah,
part.
it was certainly pretty close, and knowing that he already had hurt more, I think he just went ahead and like spent his money on a chainmail or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, yeah, and then I found um Hawksness pretty soon after that, and the stone man was a jerk and wasn't letting me hit him, so I had to
Yeah,
give him another shot. And
you still, even though that happened, you still got the Erdrick's armor earlier because I think TheAlanHeffley was trying to explore in the other direction.
right, no, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, I pretty much went that way exactly. I did might have tried a couple different ways first, but then got red dragon, so
Yep.
I just went back. Um, but yeah, and then it was weird because both of the caves were in the east, and I got the 8 chests that I could access, and there was not a single dang thing in them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It turned out it's just all sitting in Garenham, like right outside Garenham are the guys, the two old men that convert your key items up. So it's just like a big old care package in that one spot on the map.
Right. Um, and then uh, and then the sword in Tanajo, of course.
Indeed.
So that was nice to have that other piece. And I think that um, we saw both the curse belts pretty early, so that kind of removed the suspense of where things were going to be, kind of for the most part. So we were just going to need the search locations. So, yeah, and then a lot of the late game enemies were just kind of annoying. There was a lot of stuff with heal. There was a lot of stuff with a few things with sleep.
Yep.
Maybe, but it didn't go too
Yeah, you
bad.
kind of got through Sharlock without too much of a hitch, even though there were some enemies floating around there in sleep. Like, I think that's actually the first time we saw Star Wyverns with their sleep.
Yeah, I don't know what my no, I saw Star Wyvern cast sleep maybe once.
Oh, okay. Okay,
think
I
that-
maybe we had missed it because we were trying to watch 2 streams.
Yeah, but in the swamp cave, I think I saw one. So I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Sorry, I shouldn't look at the TV.
That's quite all right. So how about those ever so difficult coordinates?
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. I did not even write them down. Even sometimes I'm careful to write things down just in case I forget, because nothing's more frustrating than having to go back and read the coordinates again. But I did myself proud, and I managed to remember how to walk 6 squares from the castle. And I guess it's only 5 squares once you cast return, since you're already 1 south to begin with. I'm pretty sure it was 6 south and 1 east, right? Something like that.
Yeah, 5 south and 1 east. Close enough.
Oh, so it was only 5 squares
Yeah.
to walk. Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some pretty close before, but I think that is the closest. I've seen some within 10 or 20 tiles before. Yeah, then I kind of counted on getting the death necklace in the treasury. And I don't know if I would have just tried to go for it without it, if I would have had a chance with some doubles, but it would have like, I just did the math for the death necklace and it seemed good. But then I got pretty bad luck on the Dragonlord 2 fight because
Yeah, you lost 2 heal mores basically right at the start, or two attacks right at the start, with between not being able to enter at full health, and then again with the ambush bringing you to a point where you had to heal more immediately before even attacking.
Right, instead of giving 2 free attacks at start.
And you still had it with a nervous but still enough last turn where you could have theoretically rolled minimum and not quite killed it, but that didn't happen.
I don't count. I don't know how much I rolled then.
You were at 152, and then your final hit was 20 damage.
Okay.
But
yeah,
you could have rolled like 10 or 11. You'd have to act like almost exactly minimum, and then the Dragonlord would have also had to have almost exactly maximum.
Yeah.
So it's pretty likely that you would have had that, and you didn't. You actually rolled pretty below average damage across the whole fight.
Oh, did I? I felt like I had some good rolls in there.
Yeah, there were some goodies in there.
Yeah.
With 15 average, and you took 12 hits to kill it. A little below average, but not too much.
Yeah.
12? I thought it was only 11. Did I miss one along the way? I'm just going back over my notes. Yeah, 12, 16, 20,
Right.
17, 16, 10, 18.
It might have just been 11.
It was 11. I miscounted.
13.
Because I didn't get a free kit, and I got 1 for each heal more, each of the 10 heal mores, and then the 1 at the end. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Where was Alan when he quit? Or
you were 7. So he had found the keys from Rular much later than you did, and that really, that blew the seed further open than it already had been, because that's also what you needed to get the Erdrick sword. That's what you needed to get into the swamp cave.
Right.
That both unlocked go mode and unlocked the excellent grind spot. And you were already several thousand XP ahead of him even before that, just from being quicker to make snap calls of like, oh, I can just hurt more of this, having more efficient exploration. He had some deaths to red dragons, and he seemed a bit squeamish to try to throw stop spells on them, so he would often get sleep blocked by them.
They seem to have really low resistance.
They definitely had low resistance to stop spell.
I don't think I missed once. I tried once on the Stone Man, that didn't work, and then I just kept on them. But
yeah, it looked like once you saw that once, it's like whatever. I'm just gonna hurt more twice.
I'm pulling it up here. So the stop spell resistance on the red dragons was 3 out of 16. So yeah, really low.
Yep, that's pretty nice. I was weighing on my way down in Sharlock if I saw red dragons, if I would be using stop spell or whatever. You know, because I had a free 4 MP to spare at least. But it just didn't come up. That Sharlock was pretty friendly. For sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't have TheAlanHeffley in here for an interview. He's really tired. Big D 530 asks if you were playing on emulator or EverDrive.
No, I play on emulator when I'm playing this, especially because it's just not important to play frame perfectly or anything. The lag doesn't bother me, and it's easier to.
I know you have the EverDrive available too, so I was actually curious about that as well.
Yeah, if I'm playing Zelda 1 or Zelda 2, you pretty much have to play on EverDrive.
It's a noticeable difference when you're making like frame perfect or pixel perfect movement.
Right. Yeah, but for this game, it's fine. I like being able to just look at my emulator and look at the chats and everything.
Yep. Any other questions from chat? Last call.
I want to say that even though you don't feel good about having someone quit on you or anything, but he did beat me in the Zelda 2 randomizer tournament, and that caused me to not make it to the bracket there. So I can't feel that
revenge factor.
A little bit, but
well, he knocked you out of one, you knocked him out of the other.
Yeah.
That's a nice little rivalry that I wasn't aware of.
I don't know if it's a rivalry.
Friendly. Let's call it a friendly rivalry. It's fun.
And yeah. So
anyway,
it's cool. I'm looking forward to the plan.
You had a very good run. So good game. Good night, everybody. I think this is going to be us signing off.
Yeah, it's going to pretty much wrap things up. Check things out. I think we may have one tomorrow evening, or this evening now, since we're deep into Labor Day here. Want to thank all the folks behind the scenes. Make sure to give our runners here a follow, giving us a great show here this evening, TheAlanHeffley and jkoper. And I want to thank our restreamer, MathGirl718, as well as our tracker, Skunk Rocker. And for my broadcast partner, Silverfire, I'm Ferran Burgundy, saying until next time, may your moves be excellent and your seeds stay classy. Good night, everyone.